Okay, so Sundowns played Cape Town City in their 12th game of the season. They'd gone perfect up to this point. 11 games, 11 wins, 33 points, going versus Cape Town City, whom they drew with 0-0. Let's hear from Coach Rulani on how he feels after the streak has been broken, even though they're still unbeaten, but the win streak has been broken. Let's hear what he had to say. The audio is courtesy of Disky fans. There's no video for this one, but there will be audio. So let's listen to what he says and react to a couple of his words.
Coach, if you start just with your thoughts on the night.
Yeah, let me start by greeting members of the media. Good afternoon to everybody. I thought it was a good game of football. I think two very good sides. You can see why Cape Town City have won 6 games in a row just before the Stellies blip, But good team with a good coach and with some good players, and it was a very competitive game. Made even more competitive by the fact that they had quite a few advantages. Their last game being the 8th of December, and we just came back from Egypt a few days ago. So yeah, it is what it is. It's the schedule that we have to face. And I'm very proud of this group of players because we made a game of it. I always say to them that the result in football can belong to anybody. What we have to take ownership of is the process, and the process of trying to win every single match. And then there's certain indicators that you have to look at in terms of the process. And those indicators for me are, I think, when you look, I say how many real clear-cut chances for City, I don't remember. And then the other indicator is, did we have some chances? I think so. That Lucas situation, I think in the first half should be a goal. And he's a little bit unlucky with that chance. Good pressure and good pressing trap. In the second half, I think Modiba can pass to Maseko and he decides to take a shot, and if Modiba makes a better decision. And so when I look at the chances for the opposition and I look at our chances, I say, okay, I'm happy with the indicators.
Okay, I just wanna jump in. I just wanna jump in before it goes too far. On the advantages, yes, it's an advantage that Cape Town City played their last game on the 8th of December. But at this current junction, can we say that Sundowns with its depth, Sundowns with its the run has been having the quality they have, can we say that Sundowns with the experience of playing African competition, deep into African competition almost every year, is not something new? So I think I don't appreciate him treating it as if, guys, we have to go to Africa. It's not new. Sundowns has a ton of games, a lot of time. They're used to this. They have a full squad, a huge squad, for this particular reason. So I don't accept it as being a reason, an advantage, or that much of an advantage to our Cape Town City. There, I'm like, hey, been a little bit disingenuous there. On the chances side, if I understand the Ribeiro one, I understand that Ribeiro should have scored that goal, one. But if you're counting decision making and making the wrong pass, Mudiba making the wrong pass or making the wrong decision, then Cape Town City had so many chances where if the right pass was played or the right weight of pass was played, they could have scored. So I think, again, he's being a little bit disingenuous on that point. But let's carry on.
And even though maybe we made a couple of mistakes today, which is a little bit unlike us, but for sure, when when you play so many games and fatigue starts to take its toll, you're gonna have those type of situations. But happy with the commitment, happy with the intensity, happy with the respect that this incredible group of players keeps showing for the badge and for the club, and we take a point. You can't win them all, and sometimes, you know, when you win 11 in a row, everyone thinks you're entitled to win every single game, but in football you can't win them all, and so we take the point away from home and we move on.
Thank you, Coach. We've got only a few questions, Rob.
Coach, just the tactical battle out there, a nice game of chess. Do you enjoy that as a coach? And breaking their pressing, there was very good pressing happening.
Yeah, but from both sides. Yeah, they pressed well. We pressed well at times. They built up well. We built up well also at times. But yeah, I enjoy those. It's just that it comes at the wrong time of the year, you know, where there's quite a lot on my mind and there's a lot of mental fatigue. But of course, you've got to stay sharp and you've got to try and help the team and also participate in the game. But a good team and a very difficult team to play against. But that's why I'm very proud of the group. We tried our best to win the game for sure.
Okay, thank you. Ayanda?
Mental fatigue. It sounds like excuses. It sounds like excuses, but I'll give them that. They've played one hell of a schedule. They play almost every 3 days in different countries versus different levels of opposition. So you know what? I'll give him a little bit of that. But what I want to comment here is that Cape Town City showed you in that match that a lot of the things we say about the Sundowns are myths. Oh, you can't go pound for pound. You can't press them. You can't do, can't. You have to find an answer. There are answers for every question. Are you committed enough to find them? Are you willing to look through your team and figure out how to place people to do certain things? Can you figure out what their weakness is and go for that weakness? These are the things that it's coaching, guys. It's coaching. And I'll say it one more time. The teams that have gone pound for pound with Sundowns, and not pound for pound, let me not say pound for pound. Teams that have been physical versus the Sundowns this year have gotten results. TS Galaxy, for the first 30 minutes of that game, went hard. TP Mazembe got a win. Pyramids got a draw in Pitori with chances that they didn't take. If we're doing what Coach Rhulani was doing earlier, they didn't make certain decisions. They could have won those games. Cape Town City came in pressed, played positive, caught them off guard a few times, caught them plenty of times, caught them. Is this thing a myth, man, that you can't play Sundowns a certain way and that you have to play a low block? Here we are. And I love the framing of the question. Is it a nice challenge to you as a coach? Because you don't normally get this. Because you usually steamroll teams. You get there and you outplay them completely. Is it nice, man? Every now and then, Gucci, yes, the Konumuntu Olwayo may not have the guns that I have, may not have anything that I but they came out and gave it a go. Listen to that framing of the question. So, guys, let's go, let's push. And I'm sure Rhulani is one of those people. I always give him credit. I give him credit and I say, Rhulani, the one thing that I always give him is that he will think about something, he will see something going wrong, and he will endeavor to find a solution, to find a way to fix it. Hayi man, yazi, ithi ngifaka umdiba ngimdlale so. You know what, they're doing this. Let's change our structure and do that. You know what I mean? So it's a nice question, but it should be a question that is flipped on the rest of the league, where we say, do you guys even care about this? Are you guys ever going to come out and with a plan and challenge them? You know? You can be brave. You don't have to be brave and stupid. And I think what we default to is that when you're being brave versus Sundowns, you're being stupid. No, you can do this smart. And I think Tinkler showed that.
Coach,
Sure, Yanda.
with this kind of results today, and knowing that you've got games in hand, does that make you beat forward or forward? Knowing that, like we just said now, these kind of games belong to anyone.
No, not these type of games. All the games of football, the result belongs to anybody. No, it's not just these games. And I'm not worried. We are number one in the Champions League group. And everyone's talking and making hoo-ha. But we are number one in the Champions League group. We are number one in the league, even with the difficult schedule that we have. So we were in the final of the MTN 8. We won the AFL. So really, when I look at what we've done for the first round of the season, I mean, you gotta appreciate what this group of players has done. You know, incredible effort. Every single match, they give the best that they can. And as I say to you, you are not entitled to win. You are not entitled to win. So the result in football belongs to anyone. You wanna make reference. Go to Chelsea. Not so long ago, they were winning Champions League. They've probably spent the most over the last 2 seasons. And where are the results? Go to Man United. We were dominating league titles for many years, maybe 20 years they were winning. Where are they now? Out of Champions League group stages. Out. Number last in the Champions League. Out. That's football. The results belong to anybody. Man City, in the last 5 games, how many wins? This is football, you know. And now, do you want to tell me Man City all of a sudden become a team that's not good enough when out of 5 games, maybe they've won 1? It's very, very difficult. They've won 1, maybe 2 actually out of the last 5. Luton and maybe now with the final and the semi-final of the Club World Cup. In the English Premier League, how many games? It's very difficult. Football is very difficult. Anyway, it's the game teaches you every single day. And I watch a lot of football. I read a lot about football. I'm a football maniac. So I know what this game does. And it still continues to teach me more. That's why I watch so much, you know. So it is what it is. Who would have guessed that Leverkusen would be unbeaten in 25 games in the Bundesliga? Who would have put money on that at the beginning of the season? Nobody. Everyone expects Bayern Munich to be number 1. They are not. That's football. So you have to go with it, and you have to keep trying, and you have to keep trying, and you have to keep trying, and focus on the process. The most important thing is the process. The process says, what's the idea? How do you want to play? Is that consistent in every single game? And I think when you watch Sundowns, you can see some form of consistency in the ideas that we want to try to implement on the pitch. And then you look for the indicators. Are you creating enough chances? Are you giving chances to the opposition? Are you making less mistakes than the opposition? Those are the type of things that I as a football coach look for, not the result, because the result can belong to anybody. Someone said to me, we won 7 out of, I don't know. Anyway, let's leave that.
It's easy to say at the level that he's at, because at the level that he's at, the result usually comes. I think, to be fair, the result usually comes. You don't win 7, 8 leagues in a row, you know, and then turn around and say, yeah, but I don't necessarily think the result is the most important thing. He made reference of Man City. Arsenal was on top of the log last season. Same place, same time, they were on top of the log. City went, as usual, on a second half of the season run that ended with them winning by 8 points or 5 points. So now I look at it and I go, I hear you, coach, and I understand what you're saying. But in the PSL, at the very least, for the most part, the result belongs to Sundowns. That's just the truth of the matter. You have to pry it away from them. You know, the indicators this year, and maybe he's got more advanced stats than I do, but the indicators for me is that this Sundowns is allowing more chances, clear-cut chances, than they normally have, right? They're also not creating as many chances of their own clear-cut as they normally used to. But the result is the wins, more than likely. So I get his point that not everything is linked. So the result may not be linked to your play. The indicators may not reflect what the result is. I get you. My only pushback is you as the Mamelodi Sundowns coach. 12 games unbeaten, actually. 12 games unbeaten in the league. Number one in Champions League. Number one, won the AFL. Usually the result is with you. That's how it plays out. There'll be blips, there'll be surprises, but in no world that Sundowns go from a 16-point league winner, they won by 16 points, to now being number 3. That's never going to happen. But, you know, it's a blip, and blips will happen throughout the season, but for the most part, those guys are going to win again and carry on winning.
Okay, we'll take Lily and then Mark.
Coach, it's beautiful to watch as you just said focus. I was watching how the Sundowns were playing diamond and reverse diamond, 5 players. How does it take for you to sit down with players to understand when you twiddle the systems? I was watching Kulise. I saw you talking to Kulise and then you started making those moves. The 1 minute it's Ngule. A lot of information must go to the players.
Yeah, and that's why I say big compliments to them. The game of football belongs to the football players. Big compliments to this group of Sundowns players. Amazing footballers, and even better human beings. So, not me, it's the players. I just come with crazy things, and then they look at me, they say crazy, but we do. So that's it. And so, lot of praise to the players.
Okay, Mark.
Coach,
And I like that he acknowledges that a lot. I really do rate to Rulani for acknowledging that. He acknowledges that I come with crazy things. And maybe by implication he's implying that if I had different players or lesser players, or I was at a lesser quality club, maybe I wouldn't be able to implement those things. Maybe I wouldn't be able to talk crazy. Maybe I wouldn't be able to try these advanced tactical things. But if there was one question that I would really love to ask Rulani, and I think he kind of skirted it there, is how much does it take to teach players the overall plan, to teach players the little bits of tactics inside, the little bits of switches and changes? Because when I view a Sundowns, I see it from the point of view of, I think Rulani teaches you 4 or 5 ways to play, and then calls upon those 4 or 5 plays, or each individual one at different times during different matches. So I want to know how hard it is to install these 5 ways, because I don't think when Sundowns takes the pitch and they see something, I don't think that it's a completely new thing that he's asking this player to do. I think they've done all 5, and it's all about being ready when you get called upon to do number 3 or 4 or 5, and not slip when I ask you to go back to 1. You know, that's what I would love. Just if I could sit down with him just for like 2 minutes, just to hear that, how much that takes. But anyway, great answer there.
When is your new Argentinian arriving, and which foreigner are you going to drop for the second half?
Argentinian? Oh, you seem to know more than me, Mr. Gleason.
I think you know, sir.
I know absolutely nothing as I sit here, sir.
Can I ask you, what are your plans for the AFCON break? Are you any camps, any trips? What are you planning?
Yeah, we will take a bit of a break. We need we are in desperate need of a holiday. It's a pity. I'll probably have 10 players at AFCON in Ivory Coast. So those ones will then probably have a rest after AFCON. But most of the squad, I've got some players already, especially the internationals. Their flights are booked, and they'll take a couple of weeks off, and then we'll come back. We'll probably have a short camp that will be in South Africa without too much traveling, and prepare for what will be some grueling games when we start, because we've got a very, very difficult program that includes a game with Golden Arrows and Orlando Pirates as soon as we open. So it's quite a tough program, but yeah, that's I think the most I can give you in terms of the information with regards to that.
Okay, we'll close with Kinsani.
Sure, Kins.
Since the beginning of this season, your team has been very stingy, like giving up chances.
Yeah.
Even last season, like the 1 or 2 games that you lost, there was the mistakes we made. And
Sure.
You got punished. And today I looked at some of what I would call like small chances that City.
No, for sure.
They didn't punish, and normally you punish a team that doesn't do that. And you just spoke of a bleep now. Does this bleep, the draw after like so many wins in the league, almost give the players a bit of a relief of not having the anxiety to keep winning?
No, we want to win, and we play to win, and we want to win every single game. That's the process. This game is just a pause in that process. We just pause a little bit, and then we will continue. We'll be back to our best. It's not easy to do what this group of players is doing, to travel the way we are traveling, to play the number of games, the number of injuries. People will say it's excuses, but it's not excuses, facts, you know. And I would like to see how many teams would get the results that we've gotten with the circumstances that we've had to overcome. How many teams? Very, very few would be able to do that. And so that's why I say that group of players deserves a lot more credit than they get. Incredible group of players, and I can't stop singing their praises.
Talk your talk, coach. Okay, you had to flex there a little bit. Humble brag, Nyana, but it's cool, it's cool. It's earned, it's well earned.
Can I ask you a Champions League question?
Sure.
If we don't get a chance to talk to you then. This year, the other big protagonists like Athlete and particularly Vida don't look as strong as they were. Do you, when you watch the other games, do you think to yourself, this 24 edition is the one that you can actually really take now? I mean, the path is a bit clearer than in previous years.
No, because we've already lost to Mazembe.
Yeah, but you were unlucky.
Yeah, but we lost, and that's what it means. That's football. At the end, you lost. So it's not the name of the team. It's the performances on the day. There's so many things that ride on the result. As I said, the result can belong to anybody. What it does say to you is, do not forget how many times football has taught you the story of it's not really how you start, but how you really end. You go to last season. At this point in time in the Champions League, Al Ahly were written off and they were out. They qualified with the last game to go. Ronwen had to make a save. We were against Al Hilal, and then what happened to Al Ahly? They went on to win the Champions League. In 2010, in front of our eyes, the Spanish national team lost their first group stage game. And what happened? They went on to win the World Cup. Argentina, first game in the World Cup, lost, went on to win the World Cup. So football has got, I've seen so many things in football for me to say, this is what it is. 1 + 1 is 2. This game is so interesting. And that's why everybody loves this game, because it comes up with different things and it can surprise you, and it can, Luton will play Manchester City. And you know what happens? The supporters of Luton will believe that they've got a chance to win, because even the smallest of teams and the team that doesn't have as much resources goes into a match believing that they've got a chance to win. And that's why we love this beautiful game.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I wish more coaches, I wish more teams had that attitude. Oh, thank you, Rulani. I think teams go into matches, specifically versus Sundowns. Teams go into matches and they go, yeah, we've already lost this. What's the point? Right? And it goes back to the thing we were speaking about earlier about Rulani, that he goes into matches going, I can't allow a mistake of mine to be what causes me to lose this game. I would much rather work as hard to make sure that I know these guys, I know their weaknesses, I play against those weaknesses, I win versus those weaknesses. Whether it be a small team, Bumamaru, whether it be a big team, Al Ali, you have to prepare the same. And I also like this attitude that, and maybe not necessarily from him as a big team coach, but where he highlights smaller teams who go, you know what? We're not the big team, but we could win something. But I also like his awareness as a big team, team coach to say, guys, Al Ali might look weak. Wydad might look weak, right? I may be looking at Wydad and Al Ali, and me looking at them and going, yeah, may take my focus away from TP Mazembe, who he says they lost to, TP Mazembe. So the awareness as well that I am at the top, but being at the top doesn't mean I'm just going to stay there for being at the top's sake. And other teams struggling now may not mean that they're going to struggle later. He highlights that Al Ali was almost knocked out last year. They go and they win the Champions League. They almost didn't make it out of the group stages. They win the Champions League. So I like those things from him. I love that he's aware of those things and he works towards those things. And you can actually tell that he loves football with all of his heart, right? Like you can see it when he speaks, when he speaks about the different things that he watches and all of that stuff. I think that's incredible, right? But for me, more than anything, it's the attitude that every game is every game. I have to be wary of every team. You know, I almost chuckled when he said Golden Arrows and Pirates, right? That he needs to face. Golden Arrows is on a 6-match losing streak. But to him, yeah, guys, I need those points. And I can't take those points for granted. Because you lose that game, things start to spiral. It's harder to pick back up again. So that attitude alone is incredible. I enjoy that attitude so much. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next one.